Kilimanjaro is one of those like super epic places in the world where if you like to shoot, photo, video, film, whatever, if you're a content creator, it's kind of this epic adventure that you really want to capture fully. And so that's kind of why I'm like putting a lot of thought into planning all of this stuff. Part one. Part two is because last year I hardly shot any of it. So I was going back and editing last week's video, kind of announcing Kilimanjaro and like why I'm doing it. And I realized that I had no content. And I was like, this is kind of crazy. I thought I had way more, and like I hardly had any B-roll. I had hardly any photos. Like all of it was vertical, and that wasn't even that much. And I realized that climbing Kilimanjaro last year, there was like a very specific point where I said, I'm gonna actually just put my phone down and not shoot and not worry about the content. And I was interviewing our guide. I did a kind of a selfie video. It was on the first morning or maybe even the first night. And after that, I was like, I'm done. So what that means is I have hardly any content from last year. And this year I'm going back. So I need to shoot it again and actually like do it justice. So that's why planning a content and what I'm taking, how I'm taking gear, what gear I'm taking is really important this time around, and just kind of something I want to walk through. So this is one of my film drawers, and this is where everything kind of lives. So most definitely what we're doing is taking two film cameras. So these are my two film cameras. Got the Mewtwo and the Sure Shot 115. And one of the things I'm debating about is taking this handy cam that is from 2005 that I actually bought in Tanzania last year. Am I going to take it back? I'm not sure. The other thing, which is my favorite, is the Digicam, which is just so fun and I'm a big fan of. So already we're at 4 cameras. I decided that I'm not taking the GH5 because look at this freaking thing. It's huge. And I just don't want to take it. So we're going to put that over here. This thing is dumb because it like doesn't sync up with modern technology. Of course, a little pod. We're going to take some mics because why not? And we're not taking the drone because unfortunately drones are not allowed. So we're gonna leave the drone at home. And this is what we're taking. We're also taking the Magic Arm, which is very cool. And next, we're taking film. So this is the film selection, which we're gonna go into a little bit more detail because this is probably like one of the most important parts. So last year I was traveling for 9 months and I was in Turkey and I saw this exact same handy cam in the film camera store and I almost bought it, but I thought about it. I went back the next day and it was gone. And so when I saw this in Arusha at like literally a side of the road store, like I can't believe I bought this in Africa. I had to buy it. So I bought it, shot a bunch of really amazing safari stuff with it. I took it to the Maasai village. I was in Kenya. So I got like a lot of really cool content with this. And I've decided that I'm going to take it back for this trip to like run it all back again, just because the quality looks so crazy. The film is wild. It has a sick zoom on it, so like you can get really close for safari footage. And overall, I'm just like excited to be taking that back. And then I'm not going to take it up to Kili just because it's kind of heavy, but kind of to supplement this old school video quality, I'm taking the Digicam, which is just super cool. This is probably one of my favorite cameras. And so I'm going to be taking this up. It's way lighter. I'm going to put a 64 gig card in here and then just charge it up and then run it until it dies. So yeah, stoked to be bringing kind of both these old cameras from the early 2000s. Almost all of the footage that I do have is all on film, and so it's really amazing to have all these film shots in an album. So if you're shooting film, you need to do an album. So yeah, these are like the highlights of the trip, and I love film. I love the photo albums, and I'm excited to be, going back with way more film. I think I only took like 2 rolls here, which I think is incredible to have gotten what I got. But super stoked to be getting even more content because little Z didn't get any last year. So I want to talk about my 2 film cameras. This is the 115 with the zoom on it. This is maybe the cheapest camera you can buy on eBay. So this is like $45 or something. And then this was the Mewtwo, which is 35 millimeter, and it's more expensive. No zoom, but a better camera. And I'm stoked to bring a zoom, even though the zoom like degrades quality after a while, and then this just has way better picture quality. But both these cameras are sick, and I'm just excited to have both of them. Last time I only had this one, so now to have 2 is gonna be really cool. Let's talk about film and what kind of film we're gonna be taking, because this has kind of been one of the more stressful parts about planning, because if you know anything about film, once you put the film in the camera, then it's there and you have 36 rolls, so you got to shoot it. It's cloudy, it's overcast, it's dark. You got to plan for exactly which scenarios you want to use which film. And so this is what I'm taking, and it's kind of a baseline of film stuff that's going to cover kind of all scenarios. So I have 3 of the Kodak Golds. This is the 200. I have 4 Portra. Where are we at? Okay, I have 4 Portra 400s. And I have a Cinestill 400, and I also have an Ektar 100. I'm picking up a Lomography 100, which I haven't shot with yet, which I'm super excited about. And I'm also, I have some Tri-X 400s that are en route that are probably arriving pretty soon today. So all said and done, one thing, actually, on top of that, I went ahead and bought this lead case. It's a Domke lead lined camera case to take all the film, because when you're going through security and they have to x-ray it, supposedly it hurts image quality and can like affect the negatives, and I didn't want to risk that taking like 12 or 13 rolls of camera film. So I bought this, and altogether, I don't exactly know how many I'm going to take. It's an 18-day trip, but I'm definitely taking somewhere between like 12 and 14 rolls, and extra batteries for the camera case too, for the cameras too, because last year I had to go hunt down a battery because my camera died, and I had to find a battery in Africa, which is outrageous. So lucky I found one, or else I wouldn't have any of these photos, but taking extra batteries just in case. So this might be a little bit overkill, but I've broken down the entire trip and where we're going and exactly what kind of film I'm taking. So really, by the end of this, I want to have a clear idea of which film I'm shooting in which camera on all the days, so I can kind of reference it when I'm changing stuff out, and also know in hindsight like what I shot with what film. So like when I come back and look later, I'm like, oh cool, this was the Gold, this was the Fuji, this was the Kodak, whatever it is. But yeah, this is how I've been trying to plan it all out, and it's honestly kind of a lot. One very important thing that I forgot to mention is I've scooped the Osmo Pocket 3 after countless debates and internal conflict about getting it. I was like, okay, I need to get it. And I also got the suction cup. And I've been debating getting something to substitute this, like this kind of selfie style vlogging cameras. I don't like having my phone on me. I would much rather have a dedicated device, which is why I like the Digicam. because this one I can just like use almost for iPhone stories and like videos, and I don't have to pull out my camera. And so I was like, should I get, I mean, I looked at everything, and eventually I decided to go with the Osmo 3. It literally gets here on Monday and I leave on Tuesday, so it's not making it into this video, but I'm taking the Osmo Pocket 3, which I'm so stoked about. I'm also taking some ND filters for that, because when I had my drone and like the ND filter not having it, so I decided to get ND filters. So that's like even another camera that I forgot to mention. Jeez, that's like 5 cameras now. A big part of the reason that I'm taking all of this gear is, of course, to shoot it and have fun and tell the story, but I'm also going to be creating a lot of content for my business, Live a Great Story, and a lot of these photos and videos are going to end up on social media and on our website for the new product launch. So we're shooting a bunch of the new gear for the fall collection, the Kilimanjaro collection. So all of this stuff is very timely, and excited to actually shoot this time and try not to be too overwhelmed and kind of pace it out a bit, because it's really going to be, kind of intense, but also I don't want it to be like too much. Like I want to feel good about it and just like have fun while I'm shooting and not feel overwhelmed and stressed, which can happen. I'm sure you can relate. So that's why I'm kind of putting in a lot of forethought into planning exactly what I want, so I'm prepared. But this is the planning, and I can't wait to come back, put this all out, show you all the finished product. So go ahead and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Post Kili.